I want to say thanks to the members as well who supported the proposal for a deferral. I think it's unfortunate we didn't get there. But also, just to be fair to all the elected members, there are a lot of new councillors there. I've a case full of information there, and it's just very onerous to get through it all. I'm not trying to make any excuses, but these are huge decisions at which all of the information is not at our disposal. Thank you.
Okay, so we've all had our say. It's been a positive meeting, I think, up to a point anyway. I'm going to finish with two things. And one of the things is, I'm going to finish with that one. So before I do that, I always think that it's good at the end of something if we do something constructive. So we feel we've achieved something in the night. And it seems to me that from what a lot of people have spoken about is lack of information, not knowing what's going on, things happening, information not being shared and stuff. So I'm going to put forward a motion to this meeting now. And I'm going to ask you to raise your hands in support of it, if you think you can support it. And if you do, I suggest that we put it forward as the first thing, if you like, to come out of this, I don't know what we are, community council of people that are here because we care. So I'm going to propose that we should, as a group, write to Kilkenny County Council and ask them to live stream all council meetings from now on, so that we all know what's going on. Okay, so is that motion passed then? All right, so that's the first one.
Margaret, can I just confirm to you that's already in train? That technology, they're already tendering for the technology to put
that's
that is already in train.
Okay, that's great.
But it is in train.
Thank you very much, and that's great. And we'll put in the motion anyway. What do you think?
Yes.
Just to be sure, okay?
The motion for tender as well.
Well, I don't know. We have an excellent guy over here. Maybe. We mightn't have to go too far for the tender. Anyway, that was the first thing. And the second thing I wanted that maybe we could talk about is that we've spoken about the vote being taken today, and we're hoping that we can impress on councillors and people going forward that they maybe explore the position regarding the vote, get further information, etc., going forward, because as you rightly say, there's going to be lots of other votes on this. Nothing is tied tonight. But I don't know if you would like to do this, but would any of you be interested in us exploring a possibility if there could be a judicial review to the vote that was taken today? Yes. And in the first instance, obviously, we will only explore the position with council, and no decision would be taken to go forward until, unlike Kilkenny County Council, we bring it back to an open meeting of all people here. Are ye happy with that? So we have two positive things out of the night. And finally, I'm going to wind up. The final thing I'm going to read you tonight is this. And I'm going to read it to you in a second. I'm going to read you something else first. But I want you to wait and listen to this. This is a speech given to me by a good friend of Margaret Tynan's, who was mayor here for many years. And it was her speech on a special night in the council for her. And I have the handwritten draft of her speech here, and I'm going to finish with that to ye. And I thank Elaine there for giving it to me. And I'm going to finish up with this. And this is kind of my view of things rather than anybody else's. I'm not speaking for a group or for anybody else when I say this. And if you agree with it, that's great, you can applaud. And if you don't, you can all stay quiet. And then I know I'm talking for myself. But I'm going to risk it anyway. The county manager opened her presentation today, and in the first instance she said that we were all over there and she was there because the site was really important and Kilkenny is really important. And I completely agree with her on that. I love Kilkenny and everything that's in it. And that site down there, it's its heart and its soul. It cannot be replaced. Once it's changed, once it's fixed, once it's shaped, it's going to stand and take that shape for generations to come. And we have a duty and an obligation to make sure that that shape is the best shape that we can make it. I am angry with councillors and I am angry with the executive because they have ignored the express wishes of the citizens, the express wishes that we gave them through the consultation process. And I don't care if they sit over in Kilkenny County Council and they say we removed those 3 buildings. For the benefit of those who weren't at the consultation, those 3 buildings were never on the plan in the first place. I'm upset that the last meeting of Kilkenny County Council to discuss this NTMA proposal was held in committee and shrouded in secrecy, leaving the citizens outside of it. I'm upset about that because it wasn't necessary and still nobody has explained to me why it happened, because there wasn't a single word in that document that couldn't have been put out to the people and discussed at a public meeting as it was today. So that leaves me asking why? Why do you have it in secret when you don't need to? That makes me angry, but it also makes me worried. The third question I have, and it's shouting out loud from all of this, if we're now essentially going to hand over the main useful parts of the site, the 40% that's useful, that's not toxic, that commands the highest and best cost, is adjacent to the river, if we're going to do that, why did we buy it in the first place? If we're simply going to hand it over to somebody else now, we could still have controlled the planning of it. We could still have decided the shape of it. We could still have decided what was allowed on it and wasn't allowed on it. So why did we buy it if we weren't going to carry it through to the end? The final kind of thing I want to say is that Kathleen mentioned it and other people have mentioned it. And I spoke to John McGuinness, and I know he's here somewhere. I spoke to him in his office. Oh, there he is, one day. And I mentioned this to him, and he agreed with me as well. County Council officials are unelected, as are many other civil servants. And I'm echoing now what was said here before. Those officials have to be taught that they're our servants. They are not our masters. Kilkenny belongs to us. It does not belong to them. We'll be here long after they move on to their next promotion. the information that they're so at pains to keep away from us, it actually belongs to us, not to them. And finally, public representatives, all of them, must learn that they also work for us and that it is their job to hold management to account on our behalf. Yeah. And as we have... And somebody suggested earlier, what are we going to do to go forward? We have 2 resolutions coming out of here. We're going to look at Board Pleanála. We're going to look at a judicial review. But remember, and I think it was Kathleen who said it, when she spoke about managing the executive, if all the councillors worked together, because it's their vote at the end that controls the executive of the council. Well, it's our vote that controls our TDs and our local councillors. And that is something we have to bear in mind going forward. If all else fails, would it be fair to say that would be the last action, not of scoundrels, but of people who care? Yes. And finally, I'm going to read you Margaret's words. Kilkenny is a city of narrow streets and aged weather buildings, wrapped in legend and history, but a city which is by no means asleep. Intermingling with the medieval is a city of modern industry and modern shops and hotels, and always, of course, the River Nore, tumbling out from behind humpbacked bridges. There is no doubt but that some of the thousands who visit Kilkenny each year, perhaps for a fleeting first visit, return again to savour what we have to offer. We are a city alive to the needs of modern society, but also deeply aware of the need to restore, revitalise and conserve what is best in our surroundings and buildings of the past for use in the future. It would be unthinkable that these splendid surroundings should be allowed to mould and decay and become merely relics of the past. 1969, Margaret Tynan, Kilkenny. Thank you.